check if it coming content.
Is it ready now? Alright, so first I want to start by saying Kala Lal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Ba'ashai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. I also want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of James Stone. Until I came out here pushing this truth in sincerity, Shalom. We're the Israelites, for the camp James Jamaica. And today let's still want to talk about Gentiles, and also just to show you that they can't hide from the truth and they can't hide from life overall, because things were happening in life today just basically, the Bible said there's no new thing under the sun. You know what I mean? So today we are seeing things that are clear examples of what used to take place back then. And to the example that we're going to use is, just the regular boys basically, for them structured at this time, where you have a lot of UK-based players basically, and there's a rift, or there's like the scripture call it, there's a enmity between the Gentiles and the Israelite foreigners, let's put it that way, and the ones that were in Jerusalem, so to speak. The same thing is taking place with them, and it's the stigma same. And funny enough, these are the same Israelites, you so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans predominantly, so-called Jamaicans, West Indians. You are of the nation of Israel, you Benjamites, and that same spirit is on you. So just giving an example of that, because what is taking place now, we're going to get some scripture and just put things in proper perspective. What is taking place? So, the UK-based players would have been, born and raised. Some of them would have been born and raised in England. Where they would have taken their profession and, just developing their craft playing football. But they are now learning that really and truly, them parents, make them eligible to represent Jamaica, which that system in itself is off in a way, because it don't go really by lineage, which is all it should be. You know what I mean? So let me say, Lynch, I'm talking about your forefather, because you can be eligible in the UK to represent Jamaica if your mother was a Jamaican or so-called Jamaican, which that is off, because your lineage naturally goes by your father. You know what I mean? Yeah, right.
This is Numbers 1 verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigree after their families by the house of their fathers.
Right. So whoever you are is based on whoever your father is. Just like a seed, if you have an apple tree, we always use an example here. If you plant the apple seed, you're gonna get nothing but apple. The apple tree is gonna grow up, and if it is fruitful, it's gonna be a apple. That's how men are. Men plant them seed in females, and female nourish the seed, and whatever the man is, that's what is gonna come. And that's what happened in UK. A lot of these persons now realize that, them father or them great grandfather, was a so-called Jamaican. I use the term so-called Jamaican because it's gonna get into nationality also. You know what I mean?
Can you do me a favor and jump up to verse 2 of the same chapter?
Yeah.
Numbers 1 and 2. So this is Numbers 1 verse 2. It said, "Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their poll."
Yeah. So pretty much, as the brother going to, the representation and family start with father.
Right.
When you mention the nation of Israel, you always refer back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? And basically, scripture says, in Isaac shall the seed be chosen, basically coming forth unto Jacob. You understand? Which represent the children of Israel. You understand? Yeah, it's like go back to a man. It's a brother I go to.
Right. So this the comparison to just show you that you can't hide from it. Like I said, you can't hide from the truth, yo. You can't hide from it. No, this is a carnal topic that's showing the spirit, using carnal things to show spiritual things, just to prove things. You know what I mean? So a lot of these UK-based players that have been much better than so-called born, Jamaicans, call them born Pandaland, because them learn them craft in a more develop environment and they're better. But because of the same stigma or them not born in Jamaica or whatever, you know what I mean? Them not accepted. Them get that fight, and the same thing that take place in the scriptures, which is what we really hear about the scriptures. And I mean, we're just using a carnal thing to show that you people are the same people, the same mindset. You know, so what happened in Israel? You know what I mean? In Israel, some of our people would have been starting from way back. We have our people basically breaking off into different societies and marrying onto other people, other nations, and having children. But does that make you not? It's just like we said, the apple tree does, because about your apple tree growing on a different land makes it like an apple tree. You know what I mean? So in a children, you still go by your lineage, your father. All right? You have a precept?
Yeah, man. This is the book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 25. It says, start at verse 22, just to get the context. And they gave him audience unto this word, and then lifted up their voices and said, away with such a fellow from the earth, for it is not fit that he should live. And as they cried out and cast off their clothes and threw dust into the air, the chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle, and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. And as they bound him with tongues, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned?
Right, so this is an example of Paul, using that same so-called citizenship thing that people are even using today at their advantage, because in truth and in fact, Paul is a descendant from the nation of Israel, of the house of Benjamin. You know what I mean? But him use the same craft and the tricks, because again, this society that we are living in is under this is the second of the Roman Empire, which back then they have that when under the Romans, we are under Roman so-called rules and way of life. That's why even today you have a Senate. You know what I mean? I have the two-party them, and the voting system, or them so-called voting system, them have we know it rigged, but that's where it's coming from, because back then people used to have what? They used to have kings again, your line of kings that come down, your descendant from the person, so you're the rightful heir to the throne. But this system make anybody so-called, how they put it, can be eligible to represent the country, because a so-called democratic way, you know what I mean, which is nothing but lies. Because them select and elect who them want to represent them, But we're a share of Paul use the system, the said Roman system what exists back then, the same thing you have now with the citizenship, because you're born in a land, you're a citizen of that land, and it gives you so-called rights in that land. So the youth, as just like today, the UK basically them when are born in the UK. But the lineage of these people are them descend from so-called Jamaicans, which really and truly means that you are Israelites, because the so-called Jamaicans are not Jamaican. That was a name given unto our people when we came here in slavery. You know what I mean? Or we came from the land where they call land without water. You know what I mean? Right? They did that, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the Paul give an example of the citizenship. That's why people can switch. It's a scamming thing. You know what I mean? Even some people on the market, some rich people, them use the passport thing and them thing for, you can buy certain passport to get certain leverage for offshore banking and them thing. It's a scamming thing. It's a whole deception to trick people and for also use to make money. But we're here to talk about the real Israelites, and just give an example of that. So let's get into somebody have a second is just right? No, second is that's in the Maccabees, right?
Yeah, the breaking
when them cause Israel to basically become Gentiles and the Lord, remember exactly. You know that, right?
Verse Maccabees.
Yeah, give me that real quick.
Yeah, 1
right?
49. Verse Maccabees chapter 2 after verse chapter 1 verse 41.
Right.
It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom that all should be one people,
Right.
and everyone should leave his laws,
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of
Right.
the king.
So this is history. These are things that happened back then that was recorded, and they are here for our learning. So there was a decree passed, by the King Antiochus, and said, everybody, every nation is supposed to become one people. He want to incorporate every nation. So no matter if you descend from the father here, the father there, he want to give you a new name and tell us it's supposed to become this. Continue, bro.
And it says, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
So the important what we will focus on is the Israelites. Again, we said that you are the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans predominant today. This message is really for you. We are crying out to the elect amongst you. So you can get it. So we're using all, whatever topic bring the information out, we use it. So many of the Israelites back then decided that they wanted to be Greeks because that king was ruling, and it wasn't just some of them willingly accept it, but some of them were forced into it. We have always a wicked sellouts in our nation. Continue, bro.
It says, yea, many is okay. It says, for the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of unclean.
So in essence, they would have discontinued from their heritage. Right? Then take on a different way of life. Just like today, so some of these people would have left Jamaica and go to the UK for years, then they'll come back, some of them run off, they'll come back, over there build up the UK kingdom, United Kingdom, and them children grew up and things that them are so-called, you know what I say? Them have the heritage, them know nothing about so-called Jamaica culture.
One quick. Just one quick, as I mentioned, one quick scripture. It says Nehemiah 13 and verse 23. It said, in those days also I saw Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and Moab, and their children speak off in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jew language, but according to the language of his people.
Right, so you have nations where a different language gets spoken, like you have Israelites in every corner of the earth. So Japan, China, Spain, Brazil, most of Brazil, with it everywhere. So them are going to take on different custom, different language. If you're born in a country, speak the language, and if you operate, you have to speak the language of the country. So it just only makes sense. Every day after a while, they're going to just learn the way of the country. So that's what we're saying. Many of these so-called Jamaican, again, we also use it to give examples so you can come on to your level, you understand what we are trying to explain to you guys all along about the Gentile thing. You know what I mean? So-called Jamaicans that are living in them don't know culture. So they don't even know two artists in Jamaica good. So they never been to Jamaica. But because of this again, because these things are evident among some of these players, so-called Jamaican-based players or Jamaican-based people despise them. Oh, them act like them wanna read that, like them wanna soccer, like them wanna them too. The same thing about them with Israel. You know what I mean? We get some of them were forced to start eat swine flesh and keep certain annually festival customs and ways. Them depart from the laws of the Heavenly Father. And the people in Jerusalem, I say, them people know it. They despise them as an outcast. What?
This is 1 Corinthians 12 and verse 1. So now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols,
Right.
even as you were led.
Right, we were led into these dumb idols. You know what I mean? Turn away from our heritage, brother can same habit when you don't can read that. Doesn't mean we were led into these dumb all of Israel fall off, yo, and became Gentiles. We all became foreigners. That's the term. Because when we use the word Gentile, people get lost. They were foreigners. Or even they watch some of these videos on YouTube about this debate, them can't name them properly, yo. They might call them foreign-based players.
Yeah.
Like what? What is that? That is not a nationality. Or we all know Jamaica not a nationality. Yeah, we're gonna get into that also. You know what I mean? But it just shows that the same spirit of flow through the earth again. It might come in our carnal things today, you know. But there's an example for us to see there. So what if I'm gonna say, yo, all right, him father they were so-called Jamaican, but him mother they were white man, and look at him white, him on away.
Yeah.
Brother, your nationality no go by your color.
And then them go have a preference, as I talk about football, they go have a preference. Them would rather the Jamaican based players get more preference over the foreign based players, over the foreign players, as you say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we are the same people.
Same people.
It's not different. You know what I mean? And the ones them when they are abroad, they're more trained, as like I said, on the level where the game is supposed to be played, no?
Right.
You know what I mean? So Jake out here despised, you know what I mean, and I try to cause a separation as if a two different people, a different
set of people.
yeah, these things instead of people are trying to, you know, vie for the same thing, but it's just Jake.
Yeah, it's Jake. You know? Yeah, that's Jake. I was saying Jake because this is the same spirit. But then you can't change. You can't the ways of where you have back then are the same ways you have today because you're gonna make you say yourself. Because again, that prodigal son mentality is still amongst our people. Oh, the man they gone over so. But you see, then again, Jake used everything for them benefit because they use the diaspora said you say, okay, all right, foreigner, you call it foreigner America. Yo, foreigner, what one, you know, we are the feeling. You know, I said, it's my family now, you see me? But, you see, when it come out to benefits to them, then despise them, you know? And we have to say evidence, that's the fun.
Yeah, it's ironic, say, yo, if a Chinese or a Japanese who live in America, you understand, and are they born in America, you wouldn't hear people that say, yo, them are American.
Right.
You see, unless they probably speak and them say, okay, this person was born in America.
Right.
But nevertheless, even though them represented as an American citizen, people that still refer to them as Chinese.
Right.
You see, in which Chinese is the ethnicity.
Right.
You know, when they refer to the children of Israel, you see me? That is our ethnicity. Basically, our lineage comes from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Right.
So no matter which part we're there, or in the earth, which part we're there, we are still the children of Israel.
Fun.
Case in point, where people are give the Chinese mix, as they would have called it, tennis player that beat Serena Williams, right? They have backlash against her because she played for China. Right? Naomi, right? Yeah, pretty much them a backlash against her, you see me? But them not understand, so even though she have played for China, she is still Israel because her father, I think her father was Jamaican.
I don't know about she.
Yeah, but yeah, you see me? You have another Chinese athlete, you see me? So-called Chinese athlete, but his father is a Jamaican, you see me? But they might backlash against him because they must say, oh, a Chinese man this.
Right, hey, and just to show these UK-based players, let's put it there. They never accepted in England. No, we at all these players when them doing accepted. Them use them for them sports activity because again we are the salt of the earth, Israelites, we are the light of the earth, we are the salt of the earth. So whichever country we are in, you know, we always excel in whatever sporting activity, any activity we do, you know. But when anytime you feel for them draw the racial slurs. But remember what them do? Rashford, Sancho, and Saka. Those are three so-called black players, you know what I mean, that play for England, you know what I mean. But what happened when they miss them penalty in the finals? The white people them in England deal with them like who they really are. You know what I mean? Because like what does the song say? Where's the same nigga? That's not Jay-Z, you know? Is it my poor nigga, rich nigga, you're still nigga if you don't change for these people? You know what I mean? So when your own people look upon you as you're not a part of them, then who are you a part of? You know what I mean? Who are you a part of if your own people have that same stigma as you as an outcast? You know, this is just as I'm sure this happened to Israel overall. You have your time in 28? Alright? I just want if you have a piece of us.
Jeremiah.
You can read Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 17 and 4.
28
It says, and thou even thyself shalt distinct me from thine heritage, that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Right. So how are we, Salata, bro? How are we in all these lands today? Because we sin against Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, calling ourselves Jamaicans today, calling ourselves Americans, calling ourselves Caribbean people or whatever people, British. You know what I mean? All these countries are exploiting us. We are servants. If you don't understand what the word exploit means, how are them exploiting us? Yeah, some of them might give a fee now if you exploit you. And if make look on these big great countries, so to speak, who are excelling in a sport. That's a sport, right? Look on France team. France team is mainly built up of who? Israelites. I would say Israelites. Why? Because the people on the west coast of Africa, they are Israelites. Belgium, them use the diaspora there to influx these players into their country, and them don't want them leave, they want them represent them because that's what y'all did in the Coliseum, right? But then we always entertain them. We're entertainers unto these people. They accept you for entertainers, but when you feel entertaining, they them tell you who you are.
Remember when LeBron James came out and gave certain views about political issues in America?
Right.
One of the journalists said, "Shut up and dribble, nigga."
Yeah, that's what we pay you for, dribbling. You know what I mean? We're paying you to dribble. We don't want to talk about political points and trying to pursue unless we decide to we need to put you as some form of influence to your people. So we use you as puppets. That's what you are, puppets, yo.
Plan and this is say Jay don't produce nothing more than sweat. You understand? Pretty much them basically being used as representative or ambassadors for certain brands, because that is what it's all about. When you have a man play for a Jacob play for a particular side and then get sponsored by Puma and Nike, seeing them a brand ambassadors.
Brand ambassadors, right?
So them basically play you see me, and make you basically prop up them profit.
Right.
But at the core of it, you're an Israelite, man. Whether you live in America, whether you live in Europe, China, you see me, you go back to the same man, you go back to the same lineage.
Right.
You see, but then fuel it in your mind, say you're a separate people.
Right, division. And scripture say, we're going to read this one, you're going to read this comes from my heritage. That's what the key when you look for upon Israelites today, when you know who they are, again, we say you are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans predominantly. Wherever you people are dwelling, you're not keeping the laws of the Heavenly Father per se. You're not following the Passovers. You're not the way of life for the Most High gave unto us as a light and a path for us to walk. We forget it though. Those the ones that are waking up back, I try to keep it to the best of our ability, I rehearse it to the best of our ability, have some of it, which will still keep the Passovers today, you know what I mean? I will keep the holy days of the Bible called holy days, not these holidays that will get presented unto us. You know what I mean? Because again, we would have discounted from heritage and we are in our enemy land, serving our enemies. And that's why, because we break the laws. Give me you time 28 very quick. I just want to get the definition of a nation here. Go on. Just basic, just simple breakdown. But 2021, many people are still lost into this. Remember?
Alright, this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 6 to 4. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Right, so we never did that Jamaica one point. You know what I mean? We never did certain places in the world at one point. But that's what the diaspora means. Scatter. You're using the term diaspora, but you're not referring, you're not thinking on it properly. We were scattered from where? Who are these scattered people? They are the Israelites.
And they started walking out
dispersed, right? Somebody can get that one.
This is in John 7, verse 35. And then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we should not find him?
Right.
Will he go among the dispersed among the Gentiles,
Right.
teach the Gentiles.
Right, so the scattered, the dispersed, diaspora, same thing. Will you go amongst? Yeah?
Would follow there.
Yeah, go on, bro.
This is John 11, verse 51. And this speak he not of himself, but being high priest, that here he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of Yahweh
Right.
that were scattered abroad.
Right, so that's what Yahushua died for. He never died for just himself come to him own and own to receive him.
Hey, people might say, oh, the word nation, they basically represent a certain landmass. But I've just looked up the word nation. The word nation go back to 13th century nation, a race of people.
Right, a race of people, a race not even color. The term race was brought to color by Johann F. Blumenbach, that German scientist, I would want to call him. Him start put color to I mean, I've read the book right here. You know what I mean? I will prove them, history is documented, It's just that as I say, a nigga don't like to read. You know what I mean? Well, the attitude that I in that book. You know what I mean? Or we come out here and tell you these things, you lose the essence of what we're really trying to bring to you. Because we're giving you good news, we're giving you that you are a great people. You see the talent, but you don't know where to come from. You just think you just did it. The Most High made you a special people, The Most High gave us talents and the ability to rule the earth. We are not like regular people. You know what I mean? Continue, bro. You just say something for the nationality. Continue. You done? So next year we're going to erase our lineage, going back to who. Even if you go to the scriptures and look up the word nation, that is ethnicity. A people, and a people is the people of Israel. 12 tribe of Israel. That's the ethnicity the Bible is referring to. You know what I mean? Not just 2 tribes, not just 3 tribes. The entire tribes, and some of the tribes them look different. Like the Bible refer to Ephraim as a cape not turn. You know what I mean? What that mean? Them lighter, them look lighter than so-called Judite and Benjamites, Asians, which are the Levites. Them look different. But that don't mean say them are an Israelite nonetheless. You know? Well, look on the messages of the world. You think messages, there's a reason why them people, especially on top. The Christians, them people, them are Israelites.
Right.
They might look so-called white, but they know white.
Argentina, Portugal.
Right. Israelites,
From a longer time, so you have slave ships been going on that side of the world.
Right,
It's slaves before even this side.
Right. We can read that.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 46. Again, it says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
All people. We're amongst the Chinese, the Japanese, the so-called white people, the real Greeks, them. You know, those are the people that what they call themselves, the Hawaiians, the people there. Right? You know, we are amongst the so-called Africans, the real Africans. You know what I mean? The Sudanese and those people, we're amongst them. They just whatever you can't look at the thing. You know what I mean? Even these same UK-based players that we are pretty sure they are, because them forefather, well, you can never tell, but spiritually, these them ask, even though they might never really learn the culture of Jamaica, them come here, them adapt easy. They're not fight to adapt, them adapt easy, why? Because already them. Just like when Jamaicans got Ghana, they come like this. I said country them, they said people, and they come like I said people them.
And just like when I bring away up to the church.
Yeah.
Just adapt.
You just adapt. Yeah.
The foolish of the world, but
you know what I mean? Because we are hard people. Bro, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's say
Romans 8 to the point verse 16. For the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh.
Yes, we are in the art to tell you. One just spiritually can see. That's why the Elohim can say certain things and people get offended. Oh dear, yesterday when I read a basketball player, the youth man, Steph Curry.
Oh.
You see me? And many other players, and them come out and say, them man are Israelites. People say, oh dear, you said that thing. Like what? The man father, where's the man father? You see me?
Even Blake Griffin.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm saying Griffin. Yeah.
Griffin's father is an Asian.
Right?
See me? Black than me.
Yeah, right.
You understand? But his mother is a so-called white woman.
Yeah, Blake Griffin was the person there referred to. What?
And if you apply wisdom to it as well, they can't use skin color or skin complexion in no wise to determine a nation.
Right.
You know, a race, because the so-called white race used to rape a lot of Israelite women back then in hardcore slavery.
Right.
How do you know you descend from one of them?
Right. Even in the yes, sir, continue.
No,
yeah, I was just adding to what you said. Even in Italy, you know what I mean? The Italian, Ireland, the Irish, the Sicilians, them in Italy, right? Yeah, the Sicilians, them, they are Israelites. Why? Because Jake, white, they call it the jungle fever, the white man, them have. And I've always wanted the niggers, them, I always want, and these are just watch a movie a while ago, and I see them thing like the movie. You see me? Them thing and I come out of face, but people behave like them thing and like them and things are happening, Go on, bro.
Another quick piece of information. This 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, nor on his height, or his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth.
Right.
For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart.
Yeah, don't judge by appearance, Don't judge by appearance. Again, the Bible tells us that the heritage of the Most High is like unto a speckled bird, different various, different colors. You know what I mean? It doesn't change who your forefather. It doesn't change that you're descended from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, like the brother just read. You're a seed. Once that is the case, I have to give me. Then I'm going to read that continue, but someone get Acts 13 instead of start at Acts 13 and 20 something. But continue read that, bro.
Alright, so back in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64, it says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other.
Right.
And there thou shalt serve other gods which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Right. This happened because of the last of them and father came into slavery. Slavery brought us over here. Not of will, not of our will that we wanted to come over here. We came over here in slavery. The same people that are in the UK, the same people that are in a different nation, I build up America and all of them nation here. They go through the same curses just like we. You know what I mean? They were the same people. Right. So why the enmity? We know the most I put enmity, but people we have to speak out so you can understand just the same.
Hey, funny enough, as I mentioned, I said them are the same people. If you notice the dancing style between Jamaicans and Nigerians, Ghanaians, and other exactly African province, they realize as actually the same. I think in Ghana, they actually have like reggae music.
Right. Yeah, they have them own reggae now.
They have them own, just added to it, they have them own type of, they call it Afrobeat. But when listen to it, they realize that basically the same. They could have passed, you have a little slight tweak to it, a little different tweak, but they realize the same thing. And them people that consume dancehall music a lot. If you go on some platform and look for who view certain dancehall music, you realize that Kenya, Nigeria, the West Coast of Africa, basically them play some youth, them love dancehall music. Hey, I was saying dancehall music is great, but we should them correlate with us. We're basically the same spirit.
You have a video with Popcorn visit Africa. See, now you have the people them are rally to him because they must say, yo, we love your music.
Right.
You understand? You have this artist who's actually grew up in Africa. His name Lucky Dubby. If you hear music, is it a Lucky Dube? If you hear music, man, you would have never believed, say, yo. Exactly, because him sing mostly about apartheid and them something. But if you don't know the history, I think say man talk about generalized quote unquote black struggles. You understand? But basically, I
go to Israelite struggles, it's not black struggles. It's Israelite struggles, yo. The Mexican them go through the same struggles. You know what I mean? The Israelites overall. That done right? Someone get me the prodigal son, and we wouldn't get the Acts 13. Yeah.
To the point?
Yeah.
Alright, this is Acts 13 and verse start with us to point 26. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you feareth Yahweh, to you is the word of the salvation sent.
So, man and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's the lineage that the Bible is referring to. And I mean, to you, this word is sent. To the Bible that we're reading is for you people. It doesn't matter which nation they're in, or which part of the world they're in. Once you're from the stock of
whenever you hear the scripture say, whoever black, white, or yellow, you say you have the stock.
Give me Acts 5. Acts 5? Acts 5, right? Acts 2 and 5 or Acts 5? No, Acts 2 and 5. 2 and 5, yeah. Go on. Go on.
This is Acts 2 and verse 5. He said, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven.
Right, they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Everywhere you get them people, them there. You see, we can't say Benjamin, so-called Jamaicans, they everywhere. You got Japan, China, them over there. The sound system, you have some man over there now, they mean our sound system thing. Yeah, possibilities are these men are Israelites.
Yo, to be, I don't know, might one of this thing, what them mention where them take the dancehall culture as in sound system to a new level, new heights. And when them in a DJ and a select for mic, trust me, this man got
win sound clash, yo.
They want to beat the authentic Jamaicans where grew up in a sound system.
Because when you can't hide, people when they dance just like we. You see me? Said flavor, said style. They might sound a little different because them language different, but they might try to talk like how we talk. It sound weird. They might laugh. But guess what? That change facts them foreparents descend from, Israelites.
See, people that call them culture vultures, but they know that these people are the spirit, and the brother say all them have a spirit.
Look on Canada. Canada. Do much Jamaican left got Canada work. Even a Canada team, you have men from Canada team who could represent Jamaica. We also show you on a Canada level because again, there's no such thing as a Jamaican and Canada and everything. Them things that buy words to show you off. You know what I mean? But we also show you even in your carnal state of mind, these examples are there, yo. Right? You see it, right? But again, when you're blind, you don't read it. Good? Is that continue, bro? Alright, that's finished, right? So Chronicles son was a shade the enmity, yo. You know what I mean?
I have a quick point as well.
Alright, go on, bro.
This is Acts chapter 6 and verse 1. And in those days, when the number of disciples was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians against the Hebrews because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration.
Right, division, murmuring against the other set. For what? You know what I mean? Because the stigma that Jake always have, yo, that little prejudice type of thing that always the moment and the most I put it there. You see me? Yeah, the most I put it there, but you put there first because you're going to get romance too. You know what I mean? You're going to get romance too, but the brothers bring up that a while ago say there's a murmuring amongst them. You know what I mean? And it shows that there's prejudice because, that's secular, that's secular, whatever.
And we basically view them as offspring of the settles.
Right. You know what I mean? As just today now, them man are committed to the task. Alright, them man no boy struggle. Them man struggle by certainly they might have a better opportunity, so to speak. But them struggle just seem they're not acceptable than them.
Grecians, basically go back to the Hellenist.
Right.
Saying one who imitates the manners and customs or the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue.
Right, so you can say people behave like British today now in all kind of sense, would be a Hellenist because they take on British way. You know, brother, that's
British citizenship.
You see what I say? And some people would you can't just say my Jamaican either, you know, because they might come out, or so-called Jamaican, and they might come out extra white, you know what I mean, and them grew up in some IT type of way, you know, and them if those certain things in them send you. You know, them want to associate themselves with that type of lifestyle, you know.
Yeah, you have a bridge where they are deporting, the whole Renosh thing. And them say right now, you don't want to go back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
Why not do this? Nobody this and you don't want to go back this.
Yeah.
You know, so
you got them people that too.
You get used to a lifestyle where you don't want to associate himself with a certain level, or with it even just to show you the balance. It's not only the ones them where like the authentic Jamaicans, disregarding those ones, but even those ones as well on another level.
You have so-called people born in Jamaica, but through them uptownish,
Yeah.
they behave different. You know what I mean? This, that level, they call it classism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Technically, same thing I say,
Elitism,
elitism, I say, that they're better than we are seeing people that all of us we see and come short and we suffer. Let's get the practical side real quick, let's what they have something to say. Is that okay?
No. Amen.
Oh, yeah.
Luke 15:11 it says, and he said, a certain man had 2 sons,
Right.
and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living.
Right.
And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of the country.
Him do?
He went
Join himself to a citizen of the country. What?
and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him.
Right.
And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare?
Right, so him wake up. Him wake up and realize that, yo, Bombardos. My father a king there. Look much my father have. Yeah, our father who art in heaven is a king. Kings of kings, Lord of lords. We wake up and realize that. So, watch how we there I kill up yourself about word. I kill up yourself about being a good citizen of Jamaica, whichever country we're doing now. Are we supposed to rule the earth? We wake up and know that we are the true rulers of the earth, yo. Not some send out boys and so-called white man try to take over. Not some puppets, not some, entertainers. We are better than that. We wake up and learn that, yo. So we Father, rule this entire universe. I'm gonna give you to rule it. Right? So continue from.
And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare?
Right.
And I perish with hunger.
Oh, they are suffer and they are suffer. I remember in the beginning it said 2 sons. You could use those 2 sons as well. The two kingdoms. The kingdom gets split into 2. The northern and the southern kingdom, right? Here's an example to show because what happened to the northern kingdom, right? They come over here, flee from after the Assyrian king. They flee come over here. I travel through the call it middle passage, coming over here. They stay for 3.5 years. Is it 1.5 years? Yeah, 3 years in total going back. Yeah, 1.5 years coming over. Come over here. You know what I mean? Come start build up America and become habitants of America. You know what I mean? Creating a civilization over here. When they so to celebrate Thanksgiving in America. You know what I mean? You know where that issue that come from? Where them come over here and come destroy the people, them lie with them, put the people in a captivity, kill out the people them. And I give thanks for that. So them capture them, they came, they saw and conquer. You know what I mean? The type of mindset the so-called white man have, yo. So some of our people come over here, you know what I mean? Again, our people came over here and build societies as the Mexicans and Native Americans, and then the other tribe what they do amongst them. The same with Indians, these people. Yeah, them over here and then they live, them they know to farm the earth and I keep some of the laws them because they're never perfect, they never have everything, them still that I worship other gods. So said we, you know what I mean? But it just goes to show you that the two prodigals, the 2 sons, prodigal son and the son stay home. And even that usually have people when they are probably Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were still associate themselves with being other part of other nations, call themselves different things, yo. Continue from.
It says, I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee,
Right.
and am not more worthy to be called thy son.
Right.
Make me as one of thy hired servants.
So we are saying here what? We are repent, you know what I mean? We're repenting, and I say right now we will be with the doorman. And the house of the Heavenly Father in our kingdom. Just take it back, just forgive it. You know what I mean? Waiting the most I just disregard him, say not cast off in people. Him not cast off the nation of Israel, yo. And that's what the Gentile story is about. That's what the prodigal son is about, yo. The same story I read in the Bible about the Gentile. It did it for a reason. The Yahushua came and said what? He sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The people them in Israel don't know them are Israelite. The people them don't know them true where them are go. Himself become call back them, and those who are called amongst them, you know what I mean, wake up and say, yo, my father, I had servant and whatever, we repent. Who is anybody to stop them from coming in the truth? Or for serving them father, yo? Them are sons. Them are the bastard. It no matter how them look, them are sons, yo. Yeah, it no matter who their mother, because again, as you say, the mother don't carry the information, yo, to change the seed. The seed is just a seed. Continue for bro.
And a quick one.
Chat it first.
It's 1 Peter 1:9. It said, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation.
Yeah, we're a holy nation, yo.
A peculiar people.
A strange people. We are different from the Amites, from the people in the Middle East now. Ishmaelites, right? We are different from these people, the Elamites, the Indian them. These people are they spirit not click. If I see somebody in them nation behave like they behave, 99% chances are they are the same people that you are.
99% chance they have a catch a Israelite already populated like a Elamite and shit.
Right, because the Bible say what we are the only son of earth, but the Bible also said that we're gonna make multiply by the son of the sea. We cannot be numbered, yo. It's all about money I try hard to find out, you know, that's how this system all about too. You know, trying to, identify some people who them be so they can exterminate them. You know? Continue.
It's a peculiar people that he should shew forth the praises of him who had called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Right, darkness, calling instead other nations, living other customs, living other ways, taking on bywords, thinking that it is the best thing you can be born on the rock of Jamaica is to call yourself a Jamaican. That's ignorant, that's darkness, yo. Because no Jamaican not get saved. No Jamaican, what better title you can have than the title of Israel upon the earth, because you're a son of God. And if you don't believe, and all you can, unless you don't believe in God, what higher title can you can't be God? You can't be the God. So the most you can be is the son of God, yo. You know what I mean?
Which in time past were not a people, but
right.
are now the people of God, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
What do you mean by not a people? It doesn't mean that we were not a people, so to speak. No, it means that we were an outcast. You know what I mean? We were not the nation with the most high. We were the nation, but we were looked on like that. We were despised, yo. Yeah, not whatever nation not desired, yo.
And if you like pretty hard, we do medieval movies when they used to conquer like a nation or a set of people. When they conquer them, and then spread apart, and then become no longer people.
Right, okay,
you basically wipe them out as a established nation.
Just like them saying that Bible scripture saying that in the Psalms that they become Psalm 83.
The name of Israel.
We know the Lord, you see me? But in that conception again, well, we doing that now, we're taking it back to ourselves because the most are wake up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But if you tell the regular GSM is like, where? How?
Yeah, straight up to the magenta.
Yeah, them telling that. Yes, you are, but we are saying. You see me? Which are true. Go on, bro.
One more question.
Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 8, verse 3 says, Israel had cast off the thing that is good. The enemy shall pursue him.
Right. Who's gonna defend you when they don't believe in the God of Israel? Who's gonna defend you when they don't believe that you are the people of God? When they accept to be an outcast and willing to be the outcast, or you accept say you are the Edens, them. Because what is the judgment for Eden? Slavery. You know what I mean? Slavery. So with highlighting the enmity of people up to the and even go get Isaiah 9, Isaiah 11. We say the outcast and dispersed.
Oh,
Yeah.
We're
We're gonna get that to go on.
It's Hosea chapter 8, verse 8. Israel is swallowed up.
Right.
How shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel we are released from pleasure?
Right, no pleasure. People just do it for entertainment, that was we've been saying. We are amongst all other nations. You know, we don't have an establishment as Israel for ourselves. That's the next thing again to show you that we are not a people anymore. Because we don't have a system of Israelites for the Israelites. Where's the nation Israel today? The real nation, not the gutterers them in the land today call themselves that. I call it Israelis. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about where's the true so-called Negroes. Because the Bible says Judah they are black unto the ground, you know. King David, Solomon, the Bible says in black as a tent, Kedar, which will go to what? Dark skin. You know what I mean? Job said, his skin is black upon him. There's corners of scripture. The Yahweh shy. You see me? Ear as wool. And feet as fine burnt brass, yo. As if they were burning in a furnace. Dark. The people in the Bible tell you, they man on a so-called gutterers, yo. And as bad as it be, we have people over there in over there saying here today. You know what I mean? Because we're in every land under the heaven. Continue, bro.
Alright, back in Luke. Right. Back in Luke chapter 15.
Right.
Verse 20. It says, and he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son.
Right.
But the father said to his servant, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it.
Right, so we're royal priesthood, we're royal people, and we deserve to be in royalty. Continue, bro.
And let us eat and be merry, for this my son was dead,
Right.
and is alive again.
And that's referring to what we've been spiritually dead. We today being spiritually dead before we come to this truth, and then the truth wake up or become alive. And the scripture tells us that St. John 6:63, the spirit moveth and quickeneth us. Yeah, there is a spirit and life. You know what I mean? That this word is what woke us up. We hear the word and it resonates with us, and we are here preaching it here. And that's why we're preaching for others to hear and to wake up, because what is going to happen in the end when all hell break loose, because believe it or not, whether you want to accept you are Israelite or you are whatever, the white man have you as the true Israelite, and I'm going to wipe you out. See, all of them celebrities that come out now, whichever means or ways them our agenda them have behind it, them come out, them get it. And if them, we can't be on so much high horse, I get it. And I realize, because the basic thing, you know, say, I usually that doesn't mean say, I'm going to see it. You see me? That's the basic thing. But it's been taken away from us for so long, and it's so miraculous to know, say, I usually like you. You know what I mean? But these celebrities, they are learning these things. You know what I mean?
This is Baruch 4 and verse 36. So Jerusalem, look about towards thee, look about thee towards the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from Yahweh.
Right.
Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away.
Right.
They come together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh.
Right, that's what you see taking place now. We might not be in the same landmass right now, because that gathering and reaping not take place yet. But the spiritual message will reach the nation of Israel and take place in all land. That's you see people in our Germany, people in our all over the place, people there, yo. In Africa, people there in the Caribbean, England, people there all over wake up in the street and preach the Bible in the true essence that it should be taught. That's the most time working and gathering Israel from the four corners of the earth, yo.
Yes, I pray that son.
Just like, so get Isaiah 11. You don't read it, bro? Alright, shut this fast. Finish up, bro. Salakia.
Back in Luke 15 and 24, for this my son was dead, he is alive again. He was lost and is found.
Right.
They began to be merry. Now his eldest son was in the field,
Right.
and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father had killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answered and said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandment. And yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as thy son come, which had devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him and the fatted calf.
Right. Yeah, so that's the enmity, yo. The one that was Vix. You see me? He never happy say, yo, the brother find back him way. You know, he never happy say him come back to royalty. You know, we're not saying use the example, the UK based players and Jamaica to show you the same calamity that take place and the same stigma, so to speak, that take place. You know what I mean? So let's say the man them in England wake up now and realize they can represent. You see me? People don't welcome that. And it's the same the scripture mentioned back then when the brother with the prodigal son, the brother never accept the fact say his brother did gone and waste his life out there and decides him to come back after. And I care if him there, all him be come back to my brother. You see me? We accept the angels in heaven rejoice here when a man come back, you know what I mean? And we're talking about Israel, because this is what takes place in the nation, Israel now. You have Israelite groups out there, we are hit out against people because of how them look. You know what I mean? Because of how people wish for them, them are not Israelite, because your brain will tell yourself what is Israelite supposed to be is not what you're seeing. You are the standard, you know. If you descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you know what I mean? And you come back to this truth, from we who are we? The Bible says not gonna reap and get another time, but the wheat and the tear grow together, yo. And then when the time come, you will decide who forget pick and pluck. You know that remember you can be a so-called dark skin and your forefather was a so-called white man or any other nation. Who you know say you are Israelite, yo?
So it's supposed to preach the word and then you have machine and try to speak the word
Right.
together.
Done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Isaiah, right.
It's Isaiah 11 verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign for the people,
Right.
and it shall the Gentile seed,
Right.
and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people,
Right.
which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Paphos, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Ammon, and from the islands of the sea.
Right.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Right.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
Right.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
That's right.
Right, so that's the enmity get cut off. And we'll come together as one. But let's just go through and dissect it a little bit. Right? So we are going through hard labor, no matter what we do. We all suffer you because we're not the curse. You know what I mean? But that rest that we're going to get, you know, that root of Jesse, which is Yahushua, you know what I mean? The root and the offspring of David, you know what I mean? So that we go, he's the deliverer. He's gonna deliver us from the hell we are take like we are go through, wherever we dwell. You know what I mean? And instead of gonna take it from what? The focus on riches wherever we dwell, you know? And when we take it from that, we don't have to envy each other anymore, yo. We're gonna know that we are all one people. One, bro.
This is Ephesians 2, start of verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision
Right.
by that which is called circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Yahushua, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel,
Right.
and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope,
Mhm.
and without Yahweh in the world.
Right.
But now in Yahushua Mashiach, ye who sometimes were far off, are made nigh by
Right.
the blood of Yahushua.
Right.
For he is our peace, who had made both one, and had broken down the wall of partition between us, having abolished in the flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinance, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, and that he might reconcile both unto Yahweh in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby.
Right. So the law was what divide us. Because some people say, oh, they might not keep the law, they man the garden now, all kind of witchcraft and sorcery and everything, and you know, just despise being an Israelite, you know. But the law never saved nobody. The ones that claim that they were keeping it were also off. You know what I mean? All sin and done. You know what I mean? So Yahushua did have to come and remove that enmity that the law create, that division of the law create, and make us what? A new one body. The body of Yahushua, we are one body, yo. And there should be no ism and schism in the body also. As the other Puerto Rican, so-called Jew that we no match. You know what I mean? Go on, bro.
This is Hebrews 2. I speak about Yahushua. It says, for it become him of Hebrews 2 verse 10. For it become him of whom are all things, and by him are all things, in bringing in many sons to glory, right, to make the captains of their salvation perfect through suffering.
Right. You know what I mean? So we all going through that. I said that Yahushua is going to deliver us, no matter which fragment of the earth or part of the earth we dwell. You know what I mean? We need it because the hell will come. With the hell will come. I said so white man mark all of us, yo, to go through the hell. The most time mark if we go through the hell, because I might bring the hell. You know what I mean? We need the deliverance. So the famine will come, it will go affect all of us. The pestilence will affect all of us, and more to come. You know what I mean? Jacob's trouble, yo. You know me? So alright, so there's no Jacob today. Because Jacob trouble are coming up. So people are going to say, so who's Jacob and go through the hell? You people were talking about it, you Negroes, Latinos and Native Americans predominantly, well, they will out now. Anybody who descend from Jacob, you are going through Jacob's trouble, yo. And you're going to need to get delivered from it. You're not going to save all away from it. Because I'm saving in parts, yo. You know? But but we all are going to go through it. Some are going to dead, some are going to deliver, yo. Right. Right, so these false prophets out there that are preaching against and bashing against the other tribes or people don't look like them. You know what I mean? Yo, at time for your sister false time for well most of they're gonna see. You know what I mean? That false prophets are out there preaching false doctrine. But when you match the scriptures, you can see clearly that life and the precepts them act accordingly because the scriptures are life. They are what? The scriptures are literally script we're being followed back then or got done. As for them still I get done now. You know what I mean? Whatever we're reading a fourth time, we're reading for our learning. So we today can have hope because what? Oh, we know we are Israelite. These things are what we're bringing back then for me to know we are Israelite because the slave, the Deuteronomy, that's one thing where oh yes, I will get the transport over here for slave cargo ship or cargo ships. That's one thing. Oh, we're going to the curse and see there. Yeah man, see there the white man above me and we are below. Him a lend to me and we are borrow. We can't lend to him. Them think that alive, them think that we are in a real life, yo. We are seeing these things as it
The scripture says it shall be upon your seed for a sign.
right.
And that's the generation. So that's how you have to know, say, these are the children of Israel, because they will face the same thing until the house shall come.
Right. Yeah, so that's one point of the examples to show say, I would say life, you can't hide from life, these things are speaking just like back then. You know what I mean? But better than want to say something or you know? They're just edifying, bringing out the Gentile, showing that you are an Israelite. And if I read the scriptures, it's clear. It was a simple thing, but I get the most I have to reveal it to you. Isn't it? Yeah, right. It's a mystery, right? Because if I read the first verse in Peter, it tells the message to Israelites. If I read Corinthians, all of the scripture, it tells us that these are letters written to a specific people. There are letters, yo. Who letters get sent to? It have to have you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The letter gets sent to the Israel in Corinth, the Israelites in Corinth. But for some reason, it didn't even everybody in Corinth.
The average man knows it's a letter. Who knows it's a epistle, actually understand what epistle. Because when you make this, growing up in one church, you never know him something. So they don't teach them.
They teach it. You know what I mean?
So when you examine the works of Paul and the places that Paul was visiting, so it's talking to Israelite. Even in the book of Revelation, when you talk about 7 churches in Asia Minor, there are basically 7 churches representing where Israelite dwell. And the message is that the angel was delivering to John to write down was unto those Israelites in those specific churches. You understand?
Can I shop one last piece of and shop it up unless my have some stuff. Can use Isaiah 1 and 68. Go down.
You mean Luke?
Yeah, Luke. Luke. Whatever, Luke. Okay?
This is Luke chapter 1 and verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people,
Right.
and had raised up an arm of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which had been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham, and said that he would grant unto us that we be delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear.
Right, that's the whole purpose, yo. Yahushua came and died for that. And that's what we want to tell you. Believe have faith in him. Say, man, deliver you. And when the time for that deliverance get taken place, I'm going to show us him faithful. So in the promise, then I'm going to deliver you, yo. And whichever way him choose to do that, we accept it because we have no other. That's what we are here for, you, just to believe and have faith. So, brother, I'm saying more percent. So we're just going to wrap up and say, yo, Kalalali, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahshai, Bashem, Kakadash. And again to elders, the banners, to have come out there. Shalom.
Shalom.